Good morning, Tuscaloosa City Schools. When I tell you I was excited when I woke up this morning, I said, well, you know, it's 7, so I might as well throw on this blazer and get there. You see, to be in a room with so many people that mean so much to me is an honor. You see, that's 4-year-old me. Well, that's 17-year-old me, but that's 4-year-old me. And if you would have ever told me that I'd be on a stage in front of all of these people, I would not have believed you. To be honest, I probably wouldn't have heard you out until like 7th grade. But I can honestly say that from the first day I walked into Tuscaloosa City Schools to now being a high school senior, I have seen so much growth. So when Ms. Brunson asked me if I would be willing to speak at Teacher Church, I said, amen, let's do it. No, if we're gonna be honest, I actually said, yes ma'am, I think that would be a great honor, but you get the vibe. High expectations. You see, you've heard the mission statement, once, twice, maybe 15 times. So I'm just gonna get to the part that got me. I read high expectations for each and every student. I read it the first time and I was like, yes, each and every. Then I read it again and I said, how? How? You see, when my cousins and I get together, there are like 5 to 15 of us in one setting, and with multiple adults, that's even hard for them to handle. So how do we handle a classroom with up to 30 students with 30 different personalities, 30 different backgrounds, and 30 different life experiences? And my first answer to you would be educators. You first must have high expectations each and every day for yourself. And to put this into perspective, I would like to quote a group of great philosophical thinkers, the amigos, and tell you that you have to walk it like you talk it. So even when it seems like we're not listening, we're always watching. Bus drivers, we see you demonstrating great driving skills and ignoring your cell phone even when it rang like 15 times in a route. Teachers, we see you when you tell us not to be judgmental and you show grace to a student that has rumored behavior issues because in your classroom, he has a clean slate. We see you when you're having a hard time trying to get a lesson plan across, and you might be frustrated, but even through it all, you still smile at us. We see you, good or bad. We see you. I'm often asked, you know, Brianna, Byrd, whichever teacher it is at the time, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? But today I'm posing a different question. In 5 to 10 years, TCS, what do we see our legacy being? You know, be positive, be honest, and be tactful. You know, it's Thursday, so I had to throw it back one time. That's me in the 5th grade. I had this one teacher named Miss Lark who means so very much to me. But one day we were writing notes, and it was her second time asking, who is still writing? At the time I was shy, I was timid, didn't have very many social skills. Because my grandparents raised me, I'm an old soul, so I'm the only 17-year-old you'll meet with the AARP card. But I was always honest, so I raised my hand again. And she paused and she looked at me and she said, I need you to write faster because I can't hold everyone else behind. I clutched my pearls on the inside. On the outside, I was like, yes, ma'am, I'm right. But I was still so shook by the end of the day because that was the first time a teacher had ever taken the time to be blunt with me. And at the same time, unknowingly take away the safety blanket that I held on to. Because I didn't have social skills, the only place I felt comfortable was my academic profile, was being smart. So I got home to tell my grandparents, who at the time were my best friends, and I said, Dad, guess what Miss Lark said today? And I went and I did my rant, and he paused and he sat me down and he said, "Bree, what are you going to do about it?" The same man that held my hand and walked me into the building of Southview every single day of 4th grade knew when it was time to let go of my hand and let me stand on my own. So, yeah, clap it up. So I went and I did some reflection, and I learned one of the biggest lessons of my life, and it was worded differently because at the time I was 10, but I changed it a little to fit today. Change is necessary. The moment you become complacent and you feel that you don't have to grow and evolve is the moment you become stagnant and get left behind. So instead of being great like you want me to be or like you want to be, you then become mediocre. And I can do a lot of things, but I can't do mediocre. So this is the lesson. Complacency, not fear, not hard days, but complacency is the #1 killer of high expectations. Cut to 9th grade. Making one of the hardest decisions of my life. I'm fresh out of magnet school. I have all this confidence, but yet, once again, I have to start over and I have to try to continue to build on top of those social skills that I'm already working hard to obtain. And instead of going to the IB program with many of my friends, I said, you know what, let's do Bryant. And at the time, even though I was scared out of my mind, I decided I was going to make this change worth it. So I joined almost every extracurricular activity I could get my hands on. You see me in a choir dress, you've seen me in the ambassador uniform, you've seen me in TFA choir, which is literally the place where I found out it was okay to be myself. And then you might have seen me in one of these uniforms. In JROTC, I learned how to have integrity, leadership, and commitment. And I'll be honest with you, it's not easy every day. It's not easy to have high expectations because high expectations will cost you. But the benefits are also unparalleled. You see, in the 11th grade, that's when everything gets crazy for everyone. So there were nights where I would go home, and because I couldn't go to sleep, all I could do was think. And I'd sit there and I'd say, you know what, I'm just gonna quit. Because I thought about every time I had to apologize for missing one of my friend's birthday dinners. I thought about every time I had to work multiple events and wear multiple uniforms in 1 week. I thought about every time I got home late and had to write an essay that was due the next day. And I felt justified because I said, well, these are all good reasons, might as well. And then I got to school the next day and I saw my cadets. I saw the people I was responsible for teaching and training, and I realized I was too invested to quit. Teachers, you're working a job and you're in a field where long nights and trying days happen, but thank yous may come few and far between. However, your work is too important and your reach is too great. Because I didn't give up, I gained endurance, I gained passion, and I fell in love with what I was doing so much so that I went even harder. Teachers, let that endurance in your passion take you to building better relationships with your students. Let it take you to that dissertation, to and through that dissertation. Let it take you to advancement every single day. Because I had endurance and because I stayed in there, I learned that high expectations will also open doors and that it will mold you and groom you into a person that's responsible enough to handle some of the greatest successes and opportunities of your life. Y'all, this summer I went to Africa. Hey, Dr. Sherrod. This summer I went to Africa, and I'm not saying this to yeah, that's what I did. I'm saying this because it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. And then we got back to Tuscaloosa June 7th, and on June 9th, I went to Alabama Girls State. Now, mind you, I'm fatigued. I have a bad case of jet lag. And sometimes when I walk into a room, I realized that I was actually a minority and saw it for the first time in my life. It hit a little bit differently. Now, before I got there, one of my mentors, a TCS alum, Jalen Howard, She told me I was running for governor. She didn't say, hey, Bree. She said, no, you're doing it. I said, okay. So she told me I was running for governor, and at the time I agreed to it, but when I got there, it could have been easy for me to say, no, I'm not doing it. When I saw 36 other girls running for it, I could have said, no, I can't do this, I don't believe in myself. But TCS wouldn't let me do that if they heard me thinking like that. So I said, okay, I got this. It's going to be okay. Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, I became governor of the 77th session of Alabama Girls State. I'm here because I'm a testimony. I'm here because I'm a testimony. I'm here because I'm a product of high expectations. I'm a product of this great village called Tuscaloosa City Schools. So I know for a fact that this would not have been possible without the love, without the knowledge, without the high expectations that I've gained every single day of being in this system. I thank you for being my village, and I thank you for having me here today.